Alright my peeps, I'm here with yet again another prediction game video. This time it's Daniel Bryan versus Kane. I'm actually going to see this Sunday at SummerSlam. It's a non-title match that AJ, the general manager, booked about, I'd say 2 weeks ago on Raw. Daniel Bryan lately, he's been on a losing streak. The guy has been winning too many matches. He's been losing, he's been getting pins. He lost his matches against CM Punk for the championship, and really ever since him versus CM Punk for the title at Money in the Bank, that's when Daniel Bryan really started to lose a lot of matches. Now, while he has been losing a lot of matches, that's not to say that he's been looking bad in those matches. Actually, Daniel Bryan's been looking great in his one-on-one matches, especially that match he had with John Cena on Raw. That was a great match. Daniel Bryan dominated most of that matchup, but some people could say that that's how most John Cena matches go down. He gets dominated by whichever superstar is facing him, and in the end he comes out victorious. So some could say that's nothing special, but it's still John Cena we're talking about here. And I do recall that matchup was the last match on Raw that night. It was the main event, so Daniel Bryan main evented a one-on-one match against John Cena on Raw. That's pretty big for Daniel Bryan. But anyways, despite Daniel Bryan, looking great in that match and all that stuff, like I said, he's been losing a lot of matches, which sucks. He's a former world champion. Now he's losing all these matches. So I don't know if they're just gonna put him back in the mid-card or if he's gonna go back in that main event scene soon. I'm not sure, so it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with Daniel Bryan. It seemed like they were gonna go with some sort of Daniel Bryan versus Charlie Sheen sort of matchup or segment, but now they've got him against Kane, and they haven't mentioned Charlie Sheen too much, so I'm not sure if he's gonna show up at SummerSlam or not. But despite that, he has a match with Kane. So Charlie Sheen or not, it's Daniel Bryan versus Kane. And I actually think Kane's going to win this. And while I am a fan of Kane, I'm not. Usually when Kane's in a pay-per-view matchup, I don't usually pick Kane. Because Kane is kind of like in Daniel Bryan. Well, he was in Daniel Bryan's situation oftentimes, where, he's still a main event guy, but he loses a lot of matches. But in this case, I just think Kane's gonna win this match, and really there's no real reason behind a Kane victory, or a reason why Kane should win this match. If anything, if any one of these two guys need a victory here, it's Daniel Bryan and not Kane, because Kane is Kane. He can lose all of the matches against John Cena, which, he's never beaten John Cena. He still keeps losing against John Cena every single time they have a match. He can keep losing in championship matches, but he's still Kane. He's still that big red machine. Maybe not the same big red machine as, when he first debuted, but, it's Kane, and despite all the losses and stuff like that, he's still gonna remain a main event guy, a big threat, and all that stuff. Daniel Bryan, the thing with Daniel Bryan is, yes, he's awesome in the ring, and he's a former world champion, so he's been in the main event. He's been at WrestleMania defending the championship there and all that stuff. But he hasn't been in that main event scene for too long. He got in the main event scene not even a year ago, so he's definitely not as established as, Kane when it comes to that main event spot in the WWE. So he can't be losing too many matches like someone such as a Kane and remain a threat. Now, it kind of makes sense though if you, really look at it. The fact that Daniel Bryan's losing all these matches lately with the whole no thing, and the fact that AJ is the GM. He's on Raw now. Well, I don't know. Is he even on Raw, or is he a SmackDown superstar? The thing is, right now, I don't even know who's a SmackDown superstar or a Raw superstar, because of the whole thing where, Raw superstars, SmackDown superstars show up on Raw, and sometimes you've got Raw superstars challenging for the SmackDown World Heavyweight Championship. So I'm not too sure. And Daniel Bryan's been on Raw like every single week now, so I'm not sure, like I said, if he's a SmackDown superstar or a Raw superstar. But since he's on Raw, you know, AJ is his boss or one of his bosses. So Daniel Bryan could complain and state that the reason why he's losing all these matches is because AJ has something against him. She's mad that he dumped her a while back. He can say she's biased and all that sort of stuff. He could even do a petition like Carlito did back in, I don't know, 06, 07. I think it was no, might have been, I don't know. That year where Carlito made a petition to get Teddy Long out of his general manager job. Daniel Bryan can do that. Or, the thing I'd like to see is have Daniel Bryan lose this match, which I already think he will lose this match. Then maybe have him lose another, you know, big matchup. And then have him snap and just attack guys. Just attack superstars to, like, you know, send a message to AJ maybe or something like that. And he could even try to get John Laurinaitis back as the GM, because there's been some talk actually to bring back the Executive Vice President of Talent Relations, Mr. John Laurinaitis, which I'd like to see. But they're talking about bringing him back as like a manager or something like that. But if they do bring him back on TV, they could have Daniel Bryan try and get him back as GM because he hates AJ so much now. Because she books him in all these non-title matches when all he wants is to be either in the World Heavyweight Championship match or the WWE Championship match. So actually what he could do is, instead of just attacking random superstars, attack the champion, which, you know, I'm thinking John Cena wins the title at Night of Champions. So attack John Cena and start a program between Daniel Bryan and John Cena, you know, because of that. Although I do think Daniel Bryan would, you know, definitely lose that program. It'd be cool to see, you know, I enjoyed the Daniel Bryan versus John Cena match, so, you know, I wouldn't mind. I would actually enjoy, you know, some more matches between the two. And the reason why, you know, I'm mentioning Daniel Bryan attacking people and hoping, you know, he snaps and starts attacking people is because if you watch the backstage fallout videos of Raw, last week's backstage fallout, you had Daniel Bryan raging and saying that he's gonna start buzzsawing through people. So I thought maybe, hey, he's gonna do something. Maybe he's gonna start taking people out. But then I watched Raw and nothing happened. Instead, he was put in a tag team match, which he lost and got pinned in. So yeah. And as far as Kane goes, I don't know. It's Kane. I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna do after SummerSlam. Actually, is he gonna challenge for a championship at Night of Champions, or is he not gonna have a match? I don't know. But what I do know, well, actually, I don't know. But what I do predict is that Kane wins this match. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoy it. I'm out. See ya.